Welcome back, everybody. Sheepdog Smokey here, and this one is really kind of a double video. It's two-part, but it kind of isn't because it plays into the series I'm planning on starting. As I said in a previous video, I have found some new books. Love to read these kind, and they play into the study of history. Many of them actually just are history books. So I'm planning a series where the first one will be just U.S. history, beginning with, you can't ignore Columbus or Vespucci or any of those, but it really begins with Jamestown, the original settlers coming here from the UK, and how we moved from that to where we are today. A lot of that will be political. And one of the issues that has arisen in recent years is a very political issue. So that's what I'm starting here. The other one is just kind of a mention of how things like this will come up in future videos. This one is school choice. And school choice is a very polarizing issue. I myself graduated from public school 25 years ago. I am getting old. But in that 25 years, I have watched as public schools have changed dramatically. When I was in school, it was very difficult for me to tell if my teachers were conservative or liberal or libertarian, middle of the road, Republican, Democrat, Independent. I really couldn't tell you, aside from perhaps three or four. And that's because I was very close with them, very much a mentor relationship. And even then, it is a best guess how they voted. The rest simply taught their subject. Today, we watch as math teachers go on political diatribes and English teachers rant about politics. And politics should be mentioned in two classes: history and government. It shouldn't be a part of economics. Economics is the study of the economy. You might mention how certain offices have a part in the economy, but you don't commentate on how they should operate. Even in government, you don't commentate on how government should be run politically. You're talking about the system, how it's set up, and how it is supposed to work, as far as checks and balances, tripartite government, and so on. Now, everyone out there is rambling on about their own personal politics and really just indoctrinating everyone they can to follow their way of thought. As a teacher, you're not there to teach people what to think, you're there to teach them how to think. One thing that was very much, I'm sorry, it is allergy season. One thing that was very much a part of my philosophy when I was teaching, even though I was a substitute, I had several long-term jobs where I was there for a week or two, and I was actually lecturing and teaching the class. My goal was to produce students who could look at an issue, look at all sides of the issue, and make up their own mind on the issue, knowing full well many of them will likely end up disagreeing with me. I'm not there to create clones of myself. I'm there to create adults who know how to think logically, how to converse civilly, how to disagree and not destroy relationships. But that's no longer done. Moving back to the topic, school choice. There are several people on Twitter who are very vocal about their stance on this. I understand that public schools are run based primarily on property tax. There are some other sources of income from the state government, federal government, cities, and so on. They make money off of their sports and other programs where, they charge you $8 to go see a play or whatever. In large part, though, the play funds the drama department. The sales of tickets from sports events fund that program. They're not there to fund the school, but sadly, schools have started to see more and more recently, but even when I was there, that if their sporting program makes a lot of money, if it's very popular, it can make money from more than just that one sport. If you have a football team that wins state 7 out of 10 years, you can make a lot of money from tickets because even other schools' parents and students will come to watch your team play. Concessions typically aren't a moneymaker, so I'm leaving those out. But the argument for school choice is to allow parents the option of taking their children and the money that their taxes pay toward a school, or at least a large portion of it, elsewhere, to a private school, to another district in another city. Imagine if you lived in Dallas, Texas, and Irving had a high school that was producing much higher results academically, and you didn't mind driving your child to Irving. School choice would let you take a large portion, at least, if not all, of your property taxes from Dallas Independent School District to Irving Independent School District. If your child is attending LD Bell, but Trinity in Euless is a much better school academically for what your child wants to do after college, you can take a large portion, if not all of your tax money, funding LD Bell, and use it to send your child to Euless. That is the crux of school choice. Now, granted, that also would include if you attend a school in Arlington and you want your child to go to the local Montessori Academy, which is a private institution, you can use your tax dollars to pay for that tuition. The problem is that you have a lot of children who are from low-income families. They may live in rental homes where they're not actually paying or directly paying the property tax. Their rent goes toward paying that as well as upkeep and so on. But it's not that difficult a thing to look at because they're still going to be paying their rent, and that property owner is still going to be paying that money to the county and to the school and other offices for the property tax. The valuation of the home they're living in can then be used to say you have this much of a voucher that you can use to send your child to another school. Or we can simply apply that voucher amount to the neighboring school district to allow you to send your child to Fort Worth schools instead of Arlington, or Euless instead of Irving. It's not really a difficult issue in my mind. The primary point of contention I have is that the people screaming the loudest against it are the ones who send their children, by and large, to private institutions. You look at members of Congress, members of the media, CEOs of large companies. 95% or more of their students attend private schools. They attend there not only because security can be greatly increased without inconveniencing several hundred families, but also the results are better. They attend performing arts schools where they're given the basic curriculum for high school, but it focuses toward musical or dramatic performance. Why are they not sending their students to the schools they say are working as they should? And the answer is very simple. Schools perform differently. When I was in high school in Arlington, Texas, 2.5 decades ago, my school had a better program for one option than other schools in the district. We were the only school in the district that offered junior ROTC. And even back then, we did have students who would, from other Arlington schools, come 3 days a week for ROTC. They still do that. There are other schools in the district that provide ag mechanics instead of just ag. And they allow for students to take that one class. And those students typically have to take summer school to make up the one class a day they're missing, or 2 classes a day if they do it during the middle, while they are moving between schools or being bused between schools. Why is it such a leap to take the next step and say that parents may choose the school their child attends, be it public private. I can guarantee that the biggest argument that, well, your property taxes that you pay every year for the county would not cover a full tuition to most private schools. If private schools saw, however, that parents were receiving vouchers where they can use their tax money to send their students to any school they wish, you would see tuitions coming down as competition would increase. You would see the local Montessori school, the local Catholic school, the local Episcopalian school, the local non-religious school. They would open their tuition wider for more families to be able to afford it because they're going to have more people coming to that school. A lot of schools like that have scholarship programs where if you are a lower income family but your student qualifies academically or whatever, they offer scholarships. So that's already in place. It's not a leap to think if private schools start seeing parents will be able to choose, then they will make it more accessible, and you will start seeing some schools will ultimately shutter, and their students will be assigned to another local school as their school. Private schools will begin to flourish, and their tuition will come down further and further and further as they have more students. Some schools will remain the same. The issue is that parents are watching as math, science, English is no longer taught. The book is given out. Here's a worksheet that you'll need to have by the end of next week. And now I'm going to tell you how the entire government is evil and racist and bigoted and Nazi. It's unconscionable to me that anyone who is educated to be a teacher would even consider doing that. On the flip side, we have teachers that are so afraid to even suggest they might agree with some conservative principle in a textbook because they might be run out of town on a rail because they were indoctrinating children. But liberal teachers can bring cap guns to fire at a screen or can tweet threats of violence against people, and nothing happens. Honestly, I think we do need school choice. My nephew is homeschooled. I'm part of that with my parents because between us, we have 3 social sciences degrees. So the sciences, English comp, not too bad. My mother is very good at that. Mathematics and so on, we have to work together. But they're still paying property taxes to the local school district that he does not attend. It would greatly increase what my mother and father and I are able to do if the property taxes were able to be used for his curriculum, his reference books, and so on. But it's just not allowed, and debate is almost not allowed anymore. And that really is the crux of the issue. It is one of those, how dare you suggest that you're an evil person who wants low-income students to not have school? Not it at all. If we do allow even some level of choice, then that will influence the system as a whole. Those parents who do pull their children out will spark programs to their schools and their programs to ask, why are parents leaving? They'll ask their parents, why are you choosing to remove your student? And when a parent says, well, your mathematics and your English scores are abysmal compared to this other school, maybe they'll then start monitoring their mathematics and English teachers to find out they're ranting about politics instead of teaching math or literature or composition. I don't want to force any one political view on teachers. What I want them to return to is teaching their subject and leaving politics out of it. It may be a pipe dream, but I'm not going to stop talking about it. At least not in the larger sense, as I am stopping right now. I've talked long enough. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, remain civil. We can dissent and disagree and still debate as adults. Please also remember to like and subscribe and to share the video to widen the conversation. Remember, I'm doing the giveaway at 500, 1,000, and 1,500 subscribers. And until next time, stay safe, stay smart, and stay healthy. Be careful, and everyone have a wonderful day.